Mm-hmm. Well, trying something different. I got this thing on my door. I'm hoping that the wind and everything else kind of works with me. We're gonna find out tonight. I hope it doesn't get too windy, and we'll find out. Not that anybody really gives a shit. It's kind of cold out. Excuse me. Okay, I'm in like a fucking lounge chair, but I need to get a stand again. But the lighting's better this way. Because if I go the other way, the lighting's behind me. Hey, Evan, how you doing? All right. So we got a special cigar tonight that I've reviewed before, but so there's no problem going back to it because it's a great cigar. What's special about it is, besides Jeremy sending it to me, it's been aged for a few extra years, so it's got some more time on it. So the question is, did it age out? Right? When you have a cigar that has more than a few months on it, after a year or 2 years, is it still good? Is it the same? Is it better? Nice. Oliva Maduro. Nice. Enjoy that. We got Gio, Evan. I do have gloves though. I will probably put my gloves on pretty soon. It is what it is. Let's hope the wind. So it is a large. I think it's a 7x54. It is actually an extremely large cigar with elegant bands. You don't realize how big it is, but and this is going to be one of those cigars that kind of creeps up on you. It's not going to kick your ass because it's a higher end cigar, more age from LFD, but you're going to feel it. Like it's not a weak cigar. And that wind is blowing, and that's making Richie. Wind makes Rich nervous. I don't want that shit. Get knocked down. This is what it is. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Hey, it is what it is. I'm gonna button that up. Ah, the old evening. The old evening on the town. Hey, this is what it is. Getting older. This is your Saturday night. I don't drink. Why? I'm gonna be 41. I'm gonna be 41. Hey, look, man. I go to the gym every day. Do push-ups every day. Do some other stuff. Some bare knuckle boxing. Do some shit. I'm never gonna be the weakest guy in the room. And for 41, I think I'm still something. I'm not a piece of shit. I'm still kind of intimidating. You know what I'm saying? Uh, 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 uh. So, anyways, you can't be weak. You can't be weak. We got PG coming on. This is a flex. Hey, what's up?
What's up, Richie? How you doing, man?
How's your boss?
I've come up with the worst possible plan. It's drizzling outside and wet, and I haven't eaten. I'm going to try to smoke this, but it's really nice. So I think if it works, the payoff is going to be huge.
Yeah, it sounds great.
How are you doing?
Oh, I'm fresh. I just took a nice, quick, hot shower. It was my second shower of the day. I want to get fresh for the review. You know,
Me
'cause
too.
I went to the gym, went to the sauna, so I want to be fresh. You know what I'm saying?
I'm also fresh, so everything good. Now,
So we're fresh and we're smoking the same cigar.
yeah. And Richie, I've looked up all the flavor notes in advance that we're supposed to get, so
Mm.
we'll talk through it, and then at the end, we'll know who's better at tasting cigars.
I already reviewed this cigar. The difference is now this one I have and the one you have it has 2 years of time on it, right?
Okay.
Isn't
That
that
was,
true?
that was a joke, by the way. I don't know.
I believe the letter he said it has 2 years.
Okay. Then
25th anniversary, is that a one-time release, or Even if it's released every year, did he buy this 2 years ago? Because the 25th I thought was a few years ago.
I don't think it's a one time.
Very thick tobacco on this.
Yeah, it's got a really nice strong smell too. Very very unique LFD smell. I don't get that smell off any other cigar.
Well, it's not like a traditional LFD blend. If you're talking about like the Airbender, or you're talking
Mhm,
about the Haros, double Haros, those are stronger cigars and more mid tier. And when I mean mid tier is not just in price, but it's less aged tobacco.
mhm,
Now, for some people, and this is preference, right? Some people prefer the double Haro because it's cheaper and it's
mhm,
way stronger. They would smoke this and go, "I didn't like it."
mhm,
I get it. I mean, if you could enjoy stronger, younger tobacco, and that sounds kind of Epstein and like pervy, what I'm saying is you're going to save a lot of money. You know what I'm saying, though?
mhm,
So in a way, what makes cigars generally more expensive is hot, more aged, more rare tobacco, limited production, more expensive bands and boxes. Um, you know, gouge, prestige, hype. Which some things are legitimate and some things are not.
I smoked a double Ajero fairly recently, so I'll be able to compare that as well. Haven't smoked the Airbender, but you said this is like the Bull, right? So this is a Corojo wrapper.
Basically, this is. I'm not saying it's pound for pound the same as the bull, but what? Wow. So the LFD. When you said that, that reminded me. I talked to Carney,
Mhm,
John Carney, when this came out, and we talked about that. And he said that he did say that it was a lot of similar to the bull and higher priming. Guess what
mhm.
year that was? That was like 2020.
So I mean, but I don't think it's a one time release.
No, what I'm saying is that
Yeah.
yes, I agree with you on that. So what I'm saying is I was wrong. That I'm thinking Jeremy. He said it had 2 years of time on it.
Oh, I see
I'm
what you said.
I'm thinking like it came out 2 years ago. I'm completely wrong. It's been out for a while then.
Mm.
Isn't that amazing how the years go by? Like
Yeah, 2020 seems like a year ago.
it was like two toilet paper panics ago.
Yeah. So two a year, two toilet paper panics a
You
year.
got to give it to LFD to make such a tremendous fucking cigar, a specialty cigar. That's ballsy. That's ballsy. Um, because LFD, not that LFD does tons of Gordos, believe it or not, but LFD does a lot of big cigars. 56, 58,
Yeah.
54. They do a lot of big cigars, man, like 7 inch, 8 inch cigars, like 8 by 50. What was that one? They had one, I think it was like 7 by 58. Like
Oh
holy shit.
yeah, like the digger size, right?
Baby, you watch your language.
Digger with a D, like dog, like a shovel.
I don't care what race you are. That name of that cigar is a little too edgy. You know what I'm saying, though? Especially when you have that cigar in Maduro. You're like, yeah, can I get the LFD double Ajero Maduro Digger? And you're like, oof, what'd you say? Like, that
Yeah,
was with D. That's the name of the cigar. LFD double Ajero Maduro Digger. It's a bit much, though.
I agree. They could have been a little bit more careful with their naming convention.
Yeah.
I remember the first time I heard you say it because I hadn't heard of the cigar at the time. I was also surprised by what you said.
Yeah. I gotta say, bro, off the bat,
Hmm.
I have nothing bad to say. Sometimes it's nice actually just the first few minutes not even saying anything about the cigar and just seeing kind of what it creates. It's almost like when you put a bunch of dogs in a room and just let them see the pecking order, what happens naturally, instead of being like, you over there, you over there. You know, just seeing what happens. And naturally,
Yeah.
the medium plus right now, naturally, way stronger and darker than like a Connecticut. Nothing like past the Cameroon on the initial start. And I'm not saying taste, you don't understand what I'm saying though, but like those kind of vibes. And, but nothing like a heavy sun grown, that kind of vibe. And definitely not like a Maduro. So I'm not sure if this wrapper is listed as a Colorado. So it's somewhere between like higher than a darker and higher than like a Connecticut shade, but lower than like a really rich dark sun grown. You know, and obviously not a Maduro or a Skuro. So and it's a nice, comfortable vibe. And when you see the size of the cigar, but then when you taste it, you're like, this is going to
Yeah.
be a delicious, long, fun time. And that sounds like a normal date when women hang out with me.
This is a this is a delicious cigar. That was my first puff. It's really good.
Now, the only downside of LFD, in my opinion, is their burn. And to me, it doesn't matter. I
Hmm.
expect a few touch ups with LFD because LFD is more non cautious brand that would always rather go for the profiles they want. And with chips fall where they may. They even said it. We would always rather go for a higher priming to get the flavor they want than to get a better burn line. So LFD doesn't care like which is Altatus or General, especially Altatus. I found Altatus really like we smoke like a Monte Cristo or Romeo. Those cigars look really perfect, like cookie cutter, and they're burnt really nice burn line. But before AJ, obviously they weren't really strong though. But what I'm saying is LFD is not like LFD is like no, the cigars could be kind of lumpy. The cigars could be kind of veiny. The cigars could be kind of rustic. And sometimes some of the cigars no band, like the Cabinet Scuros. But damn, are they strong and heavy?
This cigar is extremely smooth right off the bat. Smooth on the draw, smooth on the retro. Um, to me, very chocolatey, a little powdery, a little chalky, but not in an unpleasant way. Really nice. And also, I get a weird sensation that reminds me of Korean food. Isn't that
Hmm.
weird? Both.
Well, are you talking about the spices, the way the spices hit you or something? Because there is a good amount of spice on this. To me,
And the savory, yeah.
it's a very tingling spice. I'm not getting chocolate at all. What you're saying is what you're getting more like a pasty, chalky chocolate, which is not like a milk chocolate. You know what I'm saying, though? So, yeah,
No, to me, it's like a milk chocolate that's a little powdery, a little bit of wood.
I agree with you. I'm getting cedar, really
Yeah,
rich cedar.
yeah,
Already my burn's a little funny, but that's on me because as I was talking to you, I
yeah.
kind of go a little bit. And remember, I'm outside and it's kind of windy out and it's like
Right.
38 degrees. So 38 degrees, windy. I'm taking my time and it
Mm,
is LFD. It's going to be the worst case scenario to have a perfect burn. If I was in my car, it'd be a little different. But all I can
great.
say is, though, the initial impression, one, it didn't lose all its balls because on a large cigar for it to still be interesting from the first puff. And also, it feels like if someone went on a job interview and they were ready for it and they're going to get hired, guaranteed. This cigar, as soon as you puff on it, you know exactly what the cigar is doing. There's no like, what's going on here
Right.
or whatever. Like, and we're double confirming that. Well,
That's a good.
right from the first puff, you're like, wow, we already got the message. And
That's a
it's
good.
a
Yeah, it's delicious right off the bat. You're like, this is smooth right
well,
off the bat.
and
What?
complex.
Yeah.
And complex.
Right. Complex. It's deep. The flavors are rich and three dimensional. Like you
And
talk.
it's also
I,
anniversary cigar, which means it's back. When I talk about cigar names and message, to me, the names and message are very important. So when you say anniversary cigar, it
Mhm.
better be special because it's going to cost more money. What does it do different compared to the main line? How and it better be better. So in this case, it is than like a lot of their main stuff. So not until the Solas come out with something as in this delicious category, and some people might prefer the Solas because it's half the price. Maybe a little less than half the price. But the Solas at MSRP was $13. But I bought it. My first time I bought it was $20 because of gouge.
Now, what's really interesting. Sorry.
I'm getting a really nice raw sugar, like crystal raw sugar.
Mm-hmm.
Picture if you had a pretzel rod, but the salt was sugar.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds kind of kinky and dirty, but that kind of vibe.
I think it sounds like sugar. Sounds like a sweet. Sounds like a
Yeah,
food.
but not like powdered or very small,
Hmm.
like something you put in your coffee. I'm talking about like when you as a kid you'd have those like sticks and they'd have like the rock candy sugar. You know what I'm saying though? They
This
used
is
to
an
have
unbelievable cigar.
yeah no dude. Off the bat you're like that's it. You could just hit the whammy button like that. This is a certified box worthy.
Yeah.
Don't even need to defend it. Like that's it. Like just yeah, you know.
Yeah, right off the bat, I'm getting the I don't know how to put it, but like the same sort of profile space as like the Lost City. Like to me, it's like it's not the same, obviously, but it's like to me, it's similar wheelhouse, similar quality level. It's a much
Do you
stronger,
think
darker.
that if they had the burn of like Fuente and maybe it is a nice band for LFD, but do you think if LFD had more prestige that it would be as good as the Lost City or and if it was in a normal size? You get what I'm saying though? Like, do you think that this is not is it just good for LFD or is it on the level of Opus, but it won't ever get that respect?
To me, this has the rough flavor profile composition of like the Lost City, meaning it's very smooth, it's sweet, it's got a large flavor space, if that makes sense, like a soundscape and headphones. Like you feel a lot of the flavor. It's moved out. You're able to sit in it. So it's similar that way. I don't think it's as complex so far. At least the notes aren't moving around where I'm
And
getting
that's
extremely
where
detailed.
it has something that I know obviously you have gouge, but
Mhm.
on what it really has though, and the word I would say would be special, unique. When you go to an Opus X
Mhm.
or Lost City or any of those cigars, and I'm not saying those are like 100% better than this cigar, not at all. But what I'm saying is what makes those cigars so special. Like when you even smell the foot on that, and when you light it up off the bat, you're like, nobody else is doing stuff like that. Now, whether you prefer it, or don't love it, or you're indifferent,
Yeah,
I'm just saying though, like nobody's doing those type of cigars. I don't think no one could touch that. That's why let's say the opposite of Steve Saka. He's on the forefront. People follow him. They love his cigars, but he's not trying to be Opus X. He's going after steak and meat eaters and what I'm saying, and that he's he's created an army behind him of guys that love him, and so they love his cigars. Or like the other guy,
Matt
the guy.
Booth,
No, no, the guy. My father. What's his name?
Don Pepin.
No, the other guy. The guy.
Oh, Pete Johnson.
Yeah, he married his daughter.
Yeah, yeah,
But he's got a devout following of his monster cigars and that kind of stuff. But we've seen Steve Saka take over Pete Johnson. Like Steve Saka's got a now. You'd have to go back 10 years ago for Steve, like Pete Johnson
right,
used to be really popular.
right. Used to be
He was
more.
he was the edgy guy. He was that new guy on the block that like going against the grain, but yet respecting the past. It really was a cool kind of story with Tapawa.
Sure.
And,
Well, it was him and Dion, I think.
yeah, but then what happens is once you get too big, you're not as cool no more. Where Steve
Hmm.
Saka he was already big, but he was under the umbrella of a big corporation in a sense, or Drew Estate, and then like he broke free from that, but not disrespectfully, but and then saying so it's like he had a different story as opposed to like he was part of something bigger, but he was a part of that, and then now he's part of something smaller, but he's bigger. Does that make any sense?
Sure. I want to say about this cigar, I'm getting dark wood. Like a savory bomb. I'm getting a lot of salt to it, actually. Getting a bit of sweetness. I'm getting a lot of savory. I don't know if it's like meaty or lighter, it's sort of in the middle. Um, but I think it's tremendous, and I want to continue my analogy for with the Lost City. The Lost City is more complex. It's more detailed. It's more beautiful. But I think this is stronger. It's more powerful. It's almost like the
You
LFD
know,
version.
would the Lost City be or how would the Lost City taste at 7 by 54 with 2 years of age on it?
Sure.
This is a tremendous size to make a cigar still very delicious.
Mhm.
7 by 54 is not an easy cigar. You could water down a cigar easy at 7 by 54.
Yeah,
It's
this is cigar.
it's big and long.
I like this cigar for me personally a lot more than the Lost City. I think
I
this.
two reasons. It's cheaper. I think it's more available in a sense. It doesn't, if you wanted it, but there's nothing. it's not like if you smoke this, you're going to go, well, I guess I'm slumming it compared to Lost City. In fact, some people will say, maybe I like it better and it's cheaper and it's bigger. So what? There is no downside to this cigar. I think it's not only just good for LFD or top end for LFD, it stood the test of time. It's still around. People still enjoy it. I still enjoy it. And this is the first time having it that's been sitting around for a couple of years. And dude, we're only right here. I can't imagine where it's going to be when we get to here, you know?
I'm getting big savory notes. Reminds me of being in different restaurants that I've been in, which is really strange. Um, so it's got a different type of profile. It's not going past after those same types of fruity notes that I get off the Fuente, right? Off the Opus, but I like it. I like that it's stronger. I like that it's a little more,
It's a
again,
little
salty.
more grounded and literal. Fuente does some like real magical shit that's
Yeah.
almost intangible. It's almost like you have
Hmm.
literally like a religious out of body experience. Fuente has reached a level that it's like you called it, like the ethereal. Fuente is like I'd like to sit in a cave with like one candle and put on like Gregorian chant music, like oh, and just smoke
Yeah.
that cigar. Just like holy shit, you know. We're like Padron. You want to light up a Padron and like go be a pirate or something like that. And then but this is classy for LFD, classy for anyone, but at the same time, it's not. It has no pompousness to it. Um, the flavor is really complex,
Hmm.
but you can almost like pick and choose what you want to taste. Like there's a lot going on. It's nutty. It's cedar. Really nice amount of cedar. It has a crispy feel to it. It's like a. It's not a lazy cigar. It's not just like being super heavy but not moving. It's like it's a lot going on. The black pepper is nice, but it's not overdone. The raw sugar is very nice, and
Hmm.
the finish is really. I'm getting very creaminess, almost like vanilla. I'm getting so.
Mm.
I have nothing bad to say about it.
I'm, I'm also
I
I'm not getting the vanilla. Other than that, I'm getting, well. Let's see. I see what you mean. Almost a vanilla, not vanilla, but almost vanilla. That creamy sweetness. Yeah, I see what you mean. Like almost not
you can
nougat
have
either, but
vanilla like a flavor or as a texture. It's almost like when we talked
yeah.
about, like is Judaism a religion or ethnic race? It's like, is vanilla a texture or a
Hmm.
flavor? It's almost both, but at the same time, it depends on what we're talking about. It's like if you said, "Oh, I like this creamy texture," but peanut butter
Yeah.
is creamy texture, but it's not vanilla though. So it kind of, you know, so
I get I get a little bit of like in and out. I get a little bit of like a barley tea, and I think this is insane, but to me, it tastes a little bit like kimchi. It's like a pickled chili,
hmm.
and there's like a spice to it. Again, like a pickled chili, but it's not like a regular red pepper you would get off a cigar where you're just like, this is spicy, this is unpleasant.
It's,
It feels
it's
very,
it's black and slightly red pepper if you hold the
yeah.
stroke, but it's very subdued red pepper, which is very classy. It's very nice. Like it's like
It
it's it,
it adds
it's
to the
it's
savor.
it's not blowing you out.
Hmm.
It's not awesome.
I
I
think it
think
I think it
it's
has.
hard to make a really nice cigar like this. It'd be easier just to blow you out. Just go,
Mhm.
you know, dark, strong, powerful. Just throw the strongest shit we got. Um, and what's the blend on this?
I have no idea. We're gonna
Hmm.
need a blend check from Geo.
I'm glad I brought my gloves because as the temperature drops, it's settling.
Yeah. I was saying I think that the red pepper adds to uh, the savory aspect to it. It doesn't take over to the point where you're like, this is a spicy cigar. I think it reinforces the that nature, which I think is quite good.
Well, I'm glad that we're both smoking it with 2 years time. And I'm gonna be honest, I don't think for LFD with their thick tobacco, I don't think 2 years is a lot of time for Padron. For some reason, with Padron, the way they pack their cigars, 2 years it took a lot out of the Padron 64 Maduro. I couldn't believe how much it lost its balls. It was still enjoyable, but it lost a lot of its spice. Um, Unless you want to do that. So if you want to tame Padron 64 Maduro, give it
Hmm.
2 years. Now, um, which was interesting because the Padron 26 Maduro, which has more age from the factory in tobacco, with 4 years I had, was
Oh,
lost less balls than the 64, which was really quite interesting. And maybe it's because The Padron 26 was already more aged, so it already reached this point, and then it's just
Hmm.
plateauing. So I'm used to that. Whereas the 64 was way more spicy to begin with, like the normal release. So then 2 years on it, it dropped, and it's not what you used to, you're expecting. You know what I'm saying? Though I think
Hmm.
once you have a cigar in your repertoire, you have expectance what it's going to be like. I'm talking about regular release,
Hmm.
and then once you throw in 2, 3, 4 years of sitting around, it could really affect the cigar. It also could do. It also could do jack shit.
Gio says wrapper is Ecuadorian Corojo, and then the binder and filler are Dominican. Thank you,
Hmm.
Gio. And that's like
Pretty-
what you said, right? That's the same as the bowl.
It could be. I don't know. The Bull though, it's a lighter looking cigar though. This is a slightly darker. Okay, if you look at the Bull is not as dark as this. And I'm not saying
Yeah.
this is a dark cigar, but this has a reddish brown tan look to it. Um, yeah, it's definitely not the status of Davidoff, and I'm not saying that pompously. What I'm saying is Davidoff with their like white label cigars, those are much more refined, and there's pros and cons to doing that. A Davidoff wouldn't be this strong. And I'm saying this is a nice like maybe heavy medium plus off the bat, but off
Hmm.
Davidoff's not making 7x54s.
Sure.
I think they're smart about that. Most Davidoffs on the white label are very skinny, small gauges because these are not real strong cigars. If you put them in those smaller sizes, you're going to get a lot of flavor.
Yeah, I think so. I was saying that I think the Davidoffs are very elegant. Um, I think the Fuente is very magical. This is not those things. Padron's very grounded and straightforward. I don't know what I would describe this as. To me, I would describe this as savory, substantial, satisfying in terms of flavor profile. I don't know.
Well, I think the thing about that is because with LFD, we're used to the majority of cigars being around the mid tier price point. Whereas with Padron, the 64 and 26 are more higher end cigars. So when you compare, but even then, they're going for darker, strong cigars. But what I'm saying is, like, you really can't compare a LFD Lajero to a Padron 26 Maduro. But then
Sure.
one is half the price, and half the price and either half the size and twice the price, or half the price and twice the size. You know, so there's way more value in like a LFD Lajero. Yeah.
Josh has confirmed that the bull is the same blend. What he wrote is that it's a Ecuador Habano, but sometimes sites will put Ecuador Habano instead of Corojo. Almost certain that Corojo. So I think it's the same, just grown.
Well, I believe that the true Corojo is the Corojo Cuban seed, right? So I mean,
Yeah, you have different strains, but sure.
no, we got someone from Bangladesh. How's your balls? Stay fresh. You got Bangladesh in the house. God bless you. Stay fresh. Hope you're doing. What are you smoking? You guys smoking Cuban cigars out there? What are you doing?
This is a fascinating cigar. I really like it. What do you know what the price on these are?
They're not cheap, and they're not cheap for LFD. But they're not overpriced. MSRP though, I want to lowball $20, maybe more. Obviously, price has gone up, but I thought it was around the 20. Can I get a price check? I'm
I'd
not
say
sure.
that I say this is a good cigar at $20.
Oh,
I don't I don't think this is a ripoff at all at $20.
no, no, especially for the size.
I, that's another thing. I don't particularly like this size in general. Right? This is too big of a size, but it's not boring.
Once you taste it, you're like, wow, I'm gonna have 2 hours of this. You know what I'm saying? Though?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's a perfect point. Most of the time, you taste the size and you're like, "Oh, I'm gonna have 2 hours of this," but this size, you're like, "Yes, 2 hours." Solid.
Right. The same thing with Opus X. Where normally I prefer the Opus X that's smaller to get more of that flavor out of it.
Mm-hmm.
So, because if you had a 7x56 Opus X, it might be kind of too faint. You know what I'm saying though?
Gio says 20 on Neptune. Josh says 30 on Neptune. Josh is getting ripped off, dude. Neptune is targeting Josh.
Um, I think Neptune is racist. Just imagine Neptune has like a a white and a minority pricing, they're like, "Oh, let us know your ethnicity for special prices," and you're like, $30.
That'd be terrible, dude.
That would, that would be
That's
terrible.
sick.
But we just proved that they both went to the same website. And
No, he corrected it. I think it was a typo.
okay, you're ruining my joke. Fuck it.
Sorry. Richie, this cigar is darn good.
I gotta do a touch up.
I don't think it's an amazing cigar.
Oh no, I do.
I
But
mean,
that's
well,
no,
to
no,
me,
no. Don't change your opinion for me. I think it is.
no. I've only smoked one cigar. Well, two cigars I think are amazing. So, but
Um,
I think it.
you have a much higher bar. Also, you smoke less cigars than me.
Yeah,
So
but I think this is. I think it's
no,
fantastic.
that's in a way I could blame the cigar, but also I'm outside and it's like 35 degrees right now. So you know,
I think I should probably touch mine up too, but I don't want to. I don't want the flavor to change. The flavor's amazing. Um,
I need to drop that ash. Um, yeah, it's very toasty, like graham cracker, toasty, um, a slightly bready, but not like sourdough bready, like just like a little like
mhm.
slightly. Um, the black pepper, raw sugar. I, I'm not getting cinnamon on this cigar, but the black pepper and the slight red pepper is very nice. Um, the
I
finish is quite
I
nice.
am getting a little cinnamon. That's
Really?
weird. Just a little bit, yeah. When you mentioned it, I was like, oh yeah, I'm getting that.
Well, the thing is, what is flavor, right? The flavor is your mind
Hmm.
agree with that statement because it's just a leaf. But in reality, though, what cigars do is cigars could remind you of physical things by like really non, but by almost spiritual because smoke is really almost spiritual, you know.
Rich, I just got a hit that was the most sourdough I've ever got off a cigar. So I don't know what's going on with it. This thing's all over the map. Because again, earlier to me, it was like dark wood and barley.
Are
Uh,
you taking deep puffs? Are you holding smoke?
I've got a new technique which I think is really good, which is I take a small puff and I retrohale it, and then I take a long puff. I'll show you. Here, take this. You should try this. This is really good. Not for this cigar because it's so big, but here, get that.
Hmm.
That's so good.
Hmm. My God, it was a great cigar, man. What a
This
great cigar
is definitely a great cigar. I wonder if this is. Let's see. Is this the best LFD I've had? I love all the LFDs I've smoked, so I don't know.
for you. For me, I would say I could. I love the bull probably about the same, but I enjoy this because it's stronger off the bat. It doesn't make me wait. However, though, there is. I would say the bull is a little more special, not just in the boxing or just it has that. And even though it's a bigger cigar, I like that it's a torpedo.
The LG, dude.
Yep, that's
I,
a
for, I
LG
forgot.
is a completely different category. LG, they are my favorite LFDs, but it's like you can't compare them to anything else. LGs, and the thing about LG too is like the one he just sent me. That's the newest one, and that was 2019.
Yeah.
So uh, it's definitely not going to taste like it did 5, 6 years ago.
To me, that LG uh, is reminiscent of this, but it was just amped up and more like
LG,
high resolution.
yeah, LG is stronger and less sweet, but the
I,
LG,
yeah,
dude, that's their primo cigar. Like I mean, like that's the name of the owner, you know. So LG, but the thing about LG, it's so limited in production, and there was 7 variants, and the last one was 5 years ago, because since then they've been doing like they had the Solus, um, they had that
mm,
what was the NFT bull for two hundred
yeah.
dollars, and that was whatever. And I found it interesting that they let go. Of course, he said he decided to leave, but I mean, why would the guy want to leave? Why would I'm not trying to get into his business, but do you think the guy from LFD was just tired, or because in this day and age, why would he want to quit his job and go do something else, or
I got,
maybe
got no idea.
he got a bet because he is working with Bentley Cigars, which is a new up and coming brand. So maybe they offered him a
Sure.
bit more money and maybe be more local. You know,
I tell you what, Richie, I don't like this as much as the LG, but I like it almost as much as the LG.
it's easier to love than
Yeah,
that's a factor, a coin that I phrased. Easy to love has nothing to do with how good a cigar is, but it's how it has to do with how comfortable a cigar is. And you can have a cigar that's like 4.5, but easy to love.
yeah.
Like, you might smoke more than a cigar that's like a 4.8, but you're like maybe it was just too expensive or too strong or both, or too rare. So easy to love. You know, that is.
Yeah. I would this is on the level for me. It's a little bit below the Lost City in terms of level, just a little bit. But I think for me, it's a better cigar. I prefer this to the Lost City, and I think the LG is and then a step higher for both, in my opinion. But the one I had was again aged, so it was really really good.
This is funny though because even though as hard as LGs are to find and they have a
Mhm,
devout following, they're never going to get the prestige of Opus. No one is.
mhm.
You know what I'm saying though? So it's interesting about that. And it's rightfully deserved though. I mean, because Opus really created the super premium rare cigar with beautiful boxes and beautiful bands, and it really, in a sense, my opinion, they created the first collectible, yeah, and smokable cigar. It's not like Opus are just collectible and like, well, someone just shot someone, and you do hear gunshots here at nighttime on the weekends.
That's crazy.
Yeah, because there's a housing projects like 4 blocks. If you go, I'm 2 blocks from the main road. If you go 2 more blocks north of there, there's
Mhm.
a housing project up there. And I talk to people and they're like, "Oh yeah, the shootings up there all the time." And I'm like, "Oh, good to know."
I want to remark on the flavor. Let me puff this. I want to see if I can get the flavors I just got. That one wasn't as vivid, but I'm just getting big, savory, a little salty, a little tangy. Um, I'm still getting a little bit of that barley in the back. I'm getting something that's almost coming up against leather.
My cigar has gotten slightly darker. We never talked about that.
Mm-hmm,
Um, I'd say I'm really between 65 and 70%.
mm-hmm.
So darker than a Connecticut, almost around the similar lines of like a Habano, which it is an Habano, but it's not like a normal Habano.
I almost
Like
got like malted coconut there. Yeah, keep going.
when you have a cigar listed as like AJ Fernandez Habano or
Hmm.
Rocky Patel Habano, like that, kind of what to expect. Because generally, when you list a cigar as a
Sure.
Habano name, generally it's following a traditional Habano blend. Like it's going to push that wrapper a certain way. This isn't. This is more delicious, more sweet. Because generally Habanos, you're not getting that sweetness or that crazy complexity. And in a way, you kind of know exactly what to expect when you go to Habanos.
I'm
Just
getting a I'm getting a little malted coconut. I'm getting a little chocolate. I'm getting a lot of dark wood, a lot of salinity, a lot of savory. I think I tell you another thing. I could smoke this cigar 3 a day, every day, all day. This is it's not boring. It's not overpowering. It's
I wish they would have made it in Robusto or Corona though, so you could have had it. Let's say, so you only have a half for 45 minutes.
yeah.
Corona would have been perfect, but
I think it's tasting amazing in this size though, because it's so tasty. This big length.
they did make it in Corona and kept the same primings. It would be a lot stronger,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
a lot stronger. You know, it would be a lot stronger.
I think it'd be a different party in Corona. You know what I mean?
It, well, the thing is, with Corona being that small diameter, the spice would have increased a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And that might have overpowered the sweetness. In my opinion, once you go a lot stronger, the sweetness could be there, but you don't taste it. You don't realize it. And the
Hmm.
same thing when you go too spicy. So that can happen too. You know what I'm saying though? It's almost like a cigar is like making a cigar, the guy making the blend, not rolling it, but making the blend,
Hmm.
a DJ, like or like a producer. And you can have all different instruments, but he has to mix it to where the levels are at where the song will be at its best. And that's why I always say you can't have a cigar good in every size. I mean, like, which one is the best size? I mean, the best size. So I do respect when they make a cigar only in one size because that was the one size that they thought was the best. You know.
I just got a hit, which was like a lot of that green pepper, the jalapeno that you talk about, but
Mhm.
not spicy, just the flavor. But it morphed. It was really complex. It got creamy and it got woody. It was almost like a jalapeno popper, but not quite, but really, really nice.
Almost like the jalapeno flavor without the seeds, without being very spray.
Yeah, 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 exactly. Yeah, but fresh jalapeno, not cooked. Um, and I agree with you on the darkness. That was right on. Go ahead.
Yeah, darkness is where it's at. This is where I'm at right now. I'm about 3 inches below the band of cigar. So I basically, I have like a heavy Robusto or a light Toro right now.
Yeah, I'm still like I just got 6.5 inches left, I'd say. But dude, I can't believe it. This is burning very slow,
Mm,
right?
mm.
I've been here for 37 minutes, but let's say we've been smoking for a half hour. That's
You know, it's Robert LFD use and shout out to Sacco. He's brand new. I don't know how he got a wrench. And shout out to Sacco and Gio. Due to their support, Richie reached over the $100 mark. So I really appreciate that. I'm
and
gonna take
shout out
I'm gonna take that on December 21st when I get that money. I'm gonna take it and shove it up my back choke.
shout out to Jeremy as well for supplying the oh, dude the chocolatey leather wood, man. Um, but very mild chocolate. Some I like that. I don't like chocolate, but yeah, Jeremy hooked up the cigars. He hooked up both cigars, which is also awesome because it allows us to try the we get in the same batch. You know what I mean? We're getting the same
Same
storage
box.
age, everything. Yeah. So
You
this
can't
is
get the
this
same
is really
rollers.
cool.
Possibly the same rollers.
Yeah,
Possibly.
smoking twin cigars is amazing.
Mm, mm.
Mm.
So I want to tell you what happened today at the gym. At the end, I always go on the treadmill for like 20, 30 minutes and I watch Sopranos on my phone. And well, I'm watching Sopranos, go for a walk, and um, they had like 7 TVs.
Mhm.
And there was 2 TVs right next to each other, obviously 7 in a row, but the two that were right next to each other. On
Sorry,
one,
I got jalapeno with spices, like different types of like bacon, like herbs and stuff. Really nice. Keep going.
no, I appreciate the interruption now. Thank you very much.
Dude, this cigar is so complex. I gotta say the notes as we do it. This is a special moment. We're never gonna be able to do this again. You know. Anyway, so 7 TVs. The two TVs are lined up.
Are you good?
Yeah, I'm good.
Good. Now, the 2 TVs, the TV on the right, they
Hmm.
got some hot bitch making fucking Christmas cookies. Like, smoking hot, tight turtleneck, little fucking apron, making little balls of cookies and putting whatever candy. Looks real fucking Christmassy and hot. Like you're like, wow. You're like, you look at this girl bending over, making putting the cookies in the oven. You're like, look at this, you know. And then to the left of it is a TV commercial. And the TV commercial, you got this big fat bitch, and she's like covered in sweat, and she's wearing like just like a gym top and like gym yoga pants, and she's got
Uh-huh.
her legs up and she's like, you know, and I a commercial. I know what she says. She's like, you know, she's like, deodorant's not just for armpits. And she's like, because I stink everywhere. And she's like spraying up like under her like fat boobs, like under her
Uh-huh.
lungs. And then she they look at her again. She's like everywhere, and she's like, she literally like the camera is like by her face, but she looks down. You see the can doing this, and the can spraying down there, and the only thing down there is Chichocha. So I'm watching this hot white blonde woman make cookies. I'm like, wow. And at the same time, I'm watching this woman with her fat leg up and under boobs, and she's complaining about her smells, and she's
Uh-huh.
spraying her deodorant on her chocha. Do you think that I want to watch someone make fresh holiday cookies while someone else is spraying their disgusting chocha?
I don't. I agree that I would not see a deodorant ad at the same time as I'm looking at cookies. That in general, I think would be.
You have fresh cookies and non-fresh chochas.
Uh,
The thing is, in the commercial, she's in the bathroom. Go back in the shower. Well, I don't think if your choach smells, don't use body spray. Get in the shower. What are you
yeah.
doing?
Well, I can agree with that.
Because I see those commercials like I'm an independent, busy woman. I don't always
Mhm.
have time to shower every day. And you're like, yeah, you do. No, you do. I don't care if you go in there for 1 minute. Time it. Time it. 1 minute. But get in there. Get in it.
I think I think the deodorant ad was probably making something that was outside of what recently would have been considered normal, and
No,
they're
no. So I'm going to explain to you the double standard. Because if a guy hasn't showered in a day or two and he stinks, it's like, oh, he's a disgusting, gross dude, and he's a construction worker, or he's filthy, or he's a slob. But when girls don't shower every day, it's like, oh, she's a boss bitch, and she's not, how do you say, she doesn't have to take a shower every day for the patriarchy. Like it's almost like, oh, look at life making me stink, so now I have to spray myself, dude, nah, dude, like.
I, I think you're being sold two marketing lines simultaneously, and they're two different marketing. And you respond one to the other better than the one. You respond better to one than the other. And you said you were on the treadmill, right?
Mhm.
Which that in itself is hilarious because you see this woman that entices you, and you're running after her on the treadmill like an R. Crumb. That's pretty funny. But I think that in the case of the body spray, I don't think that's really widely accepted for anybody. I don't think that
Exactly,
there.
yeah. Since when did commercials start showing women spraying their disgusting chochas and under their fat boobs? Like she was just like pulling up her sports bra, it was all fat. She's like spraying underneath, like, and then she's like, and then a doctor comes on. The doctor shows like the woman body, and it shows like there's little red areas where the body could stink, and it was like armpits, under the boobs, the backside, the feet, and the choach. And you're like, yeah, that's why you have a shower. You shower every day, maybe twice.
Oh, I got cherry and coffee and wood. That's really nice. But not as complex as the Lost City. I want to. I'll get back to your question or your story in 1 second. I want to say something about this cigar. Uh, When you
It wasn't about the commercial. It was just more about society.
sure,
That
can I respond to that in a second?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
I want to make this note about this cigar that I just realized,
yeah,
which
yeah.
is when you've got Opus. So a lot of headphone companies or speaker companies, when they're tuning their headphones or their speakers, um, they will they will kind of mellow out the mid range, which is kind of the range where people talk or you hear a piano. So they'll tamp it down a little bit, and it'll be less in your face, but it'll also allow a lot more nuance to come out. I think it's a cheap trick. I don't like that, but I think that's kind of what's going on with, like, for instance, with the Lost City, where this is not shy to be very direct with the flavor profile, and therefore seems a little bit less complex and elegant, but at the same time, you're getting these really big, full, rich notes. So that I prefer, and that also I prefer Sennheiser, which is more like this, whereas you'd have
I'll
some.
agree with you on this compared to like Opus or those kind of cigars. It's more rich,
Mhm.
but we're like bigger range. Where Opus has the finite notes. You know what I'm saying? Though, so it's almost like the, yeah, it's two different ways about doing it. You know what I'm saying though? Um,
You're trading power.
Opus is more precise. It really is. It's a very precise.
You
Like,
Opus.
yeah, I think Opus is a. I don't think nobody does what Opus does or any of their cigars. Does that
I,
mean it's my
I
favorite
think.
cigar? No,
Mhm.
but they're great. They're amazing. But they are special, bro. Like,
Mhm, mhm.
have you smoked them? Which ones have you smoked?
I've only smoked the regular one and the Lost City, and I think the regular one is different because it also has a lot of high end, high range, which is giving you all that sparkle at the top, which I think is very nice. And I think if you're gonna scoop out the mids like that, you're gonna remove some of the directness. I think that's a great way to go. Although there was a lot of directness. I smoked a smaller um, regular opus, but I think this one, I think you're trading a lot of body and directness for what might as nuance. Um, or what did you call it? Not detail, but
The the opus is more zoomed in. It's more fine,
mhm.
refined, um, but in a way that could limit the cigar. Where this could be more open to interpretation. So nothing tastes like opus. Like not even close. Where this I could kind of picture other cigars kind of a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So it's even though this is very special. So that's the key thing. What makes a cigar special? Like, well, the bottom line is, do people go crazy for collecting opus?
Mhm.
And not that I'm an opus collector, but I understand when I smoke them, or just smell the foot, or see the even when I see them, I'm like, I should have picked one up. You know, like one. You know, it's they're special cigars, man. You know,
So I think with the I think in a way you're kind of like going into the opus because it's more refined and all the flavors are tamped back, so you can go in and see the detail. Where this one, I feel like flavors are coming to meet me. They're more upfront, and they're rich. So I really like that, and I think that's also a to me it's kind of an easier cigar to smoke. It's not a fancy feeling in a way, even though
this this
it's
brings
quite.
more flavor on the tongue than like opus, but
Mhm.
opus brings more, I think, refinement and more
Mhm.
to the mind. You know what I'm saying though? Um, it's because we're talking about nuances here, not just flavor. Because there's flavor in any cigar, right? But
Mhm.
then like how it does. It's like there's music in any band, right? But what's the styling of the music? What's the beat? What's the writing? How does it mix with the music? How what's the tone? What's the vibration? How loud is it? How many people in the band? How long is the song? Do they
Mhm.
carry on? Do they have a solo? Does it go on too long, or do you like it that it goes? You know, there's a lot of different factors. You
Mhm.
know, because you could say music just like cigars. That's a blank statement, but a true statement. And then
Mhm.
you could go, well, what kind of music? And then even within music, you could say rock and roll. We're talking about the Beatles, we're talking about the Rolling Stones, kind of similar but different, but similar era.
Mhm.
Um, or are we talking about like, you know, Metallica? Or are we talking about, you know, Ozzy Osbourne? Are we talking about Marilyn Manson? Are we talking about, you know, more modern stuff? You know, it's a lot of different factors.
So I think to just briefly comment about the two advertisements. I think one advertisement is using a level of shock value or pushing the envelope, which I think is common for advertisement. And I think it's just the advertisement that is then doing that and also virtue signaling to some extent. But ultimately, I think that's basically what's going on. And also, I think that uh, I don't think it's really acceptable for any person to. I don't know anybody who has that opinion. I think that might be like a made up point of view that they're putting in an advertisement, which is absolutely uh, true and traditional advertisement, right? They'll make up a point of view and present it as real in order to sell you something. That's their game. I'll also
Yeah,
say,
it has to, but what I'm saying is though, like, it's not the only commercial I've seen like that. So clearly, society as far as women agree with it, where there's more than just one woman actually going, yeah, I'm not showering today or this week. You know what I'm saying? Though, and you're like, because I even see commercials where girls, like on the commercial, like on YouTube, all these man channels where they show all these modern women bullshit. And the girls are like, you know, you say, why do the guys got paid for the date? Well, because the girls got to put on their makeup and get ready, and we have
sure,
to shower. And they always will say that, and we have to take a shower. And you're like, whoa, so you're not showering every day, or you're showering? And the girl's like, oh, I had to take a full shower because I had a date. What's a full shower? Like, what do
I,
you normally do? You know?
I think for a woman, a shower entails a lot more different products. I think a woman it might take a lot more time uh, to do to put products in her hair to shampoo her hair. And I also think that that might involve shaving. It might, I mean, some women seemingly shave their entire bodies, which I can imagine would take a tremendous amount of time. I think also that the channels that you're looking at are looking at perhaps outlier cases. I saw something recently, which I actually don't know the true validity of, but that people were polled and they said, well, how many people do you think have like how many households do you think are making over 100,000? And people said, oh, yeah, 20%, which doesn't even make it. Or sorry, 500,000. They were like, oh yeah, 20%. When in the actual,
It's
one,
not even 5%.
what do you say?
Not even 5%.
Yeah, yeah, it's like 1%. So the point is that people sometimes people will see these outlier cases and magnify them. Uh, and, and,
Yeah, the difference is though, women expect that though. There is a difference. Women expect, even from a regular guy, they want to be treated and wined and dined like that guy's making 200, 300 G's. And maybe he could pretend for a little bit and max out his credit cards, but he can't keep up with that. You know what I'm saying?
I can't speak to that. I want to say the other thing to your
What do
advert.
the guys want? The guys want Choach. Choach doesn't cost nothing. She has it, and she knows that though. It's really it's like they're born with two aces up their sleeve. Does that make any sense? And it is what it is. It is what it is, man.
Well, I think that might be the way.
If I had a Choach, I'd be showering twice a day. I'd keep that Choach fresh, fresh. It'd be the freshest Choach in all the land. I'd be taking pH at the pool test. I'd have pH tests every day, fresh. You know, because you literally, I've seen these videos where girls are like, "Oh, my Choach," like there was even like a Cardi B video where she was in a taxi cab and the taxi kicked her out because she was making a TikTok video and she had her legs wide open and she had like pulled her yoga pants down
Hmm.
and the windows open and the guy's like, "Oh my God, what's that smell?" She's like, "Sometimes you just gotta air out the pussy." And you're like, dude, can you imagine a guy airing out his gooch?
I think Cardi B is hilarious. I think Cardi B is one of the celebrities. So um, I
What
can't.
I'm saying is, though, bro, can you imagine pulling your pants down in a cab to air out your gooch?
Dude, as a joke,
You'd be getting arrested.
it could
You'd
be
be
comedy, dude. You'd have no idea.
this is
That's funny.
appreciate your opinion, bro, because it's so different than what I think. Bro, guys are not allowed to air out their gooch. First of all, it's not acceptable for a man to stink. Okay, but if a girl stinks, a guy will still bang a stinky girl because they're like, nah, whatever. I want to get the choach. Oof.
Um,
I'm really enjoying this cigar. I find myself smoking it too fast. Like I'm taking like 6 puffs in a row. I'm really enjoying it.
yeah, me too. I'm smoking it too slow because I'm um arrested by the content that we're speaking of. I want to say one other thing to answer your original story, which is so on one hand you're being sold that, which also might not be for your audience, right? They might be trying to manipulate a different audience who is not you. Um, and so when you see it from the side, it looks very distasteful. Um, and it might be. I'm not saying it isn't, but I think a
Bro,
lot.
she was spraying body spray on her pussy. How is this? How is that even legal? Like, what if children are watching that commercial and you're like, "Mommy, what is she doing? She's spraying her pussy."
But
Like,
do you,
dude, dude, it's unethical. You should know. No one should be spraying their balls or pussy on a commercial. Can we agree on that or no? You think that's You think that's in good taste? It's obviously not good taste.
I
But you get
I don't I don't think it's necessarily in good taste. I can't tell you absolutely how to think about it, but um, I think that commercials are often pushing something that is in bad taste. That's part of advertising. Um,
I think it's part of mind control because I think all of TV's programming, and I think that they're trying to push this agenda of people acting less classy because less classy people make worse decisions. Do you think someone who has a stinky choach is making good other financial decisions, or like you know, what I'm saying? Or do you think why does that choach stink so bad? Have you
I,
been with 100 men without a condom, and
I
you got bacteria in your choach? Maybe you're a single mom with like 5 kids and 5 different baby dads. And you're
I
making
just
decisions.
I just got an incredible cherry and wood note. I want to say TV was originally developed, as far as I understand, to sell soap. Um, that it's that it they made programming so that they could have the advertising to sell this stuff. A lot of these media forms come up based on how they can be monetized. And
Same
if that,
thing with newspapers. Same thing with YouTube. Same thing with anything. Um, it's the same thing with dating and marriages, dude. The women are monetized, bro. It's when you meet a girl, it's always about what you do, how much you make. It
no,
doesn't matter. Girl, dude, how many times do you hear a woman say, "What he has is mine, and what I have is mine," dude?
I've I've
That's
never
what they always say.
never
Behind every successful man is a woman. Yeah, because she's not going to be with an unsuccessful man. You know what I'm saying? You think if behind every homeless man is a woman?
I've never heard somebody say what he has is mine and what I have is mine. I've never heard that in my life. No.
Oh, I've heard my whole life. Oh, I've heard that my whole life.
But
Oh yeah.
regardless, everybody is monetized. Everybody wants something, right? Men want everybody wants to reproduce and have good offspring at some level, at some basic instinct level. And if they don't, that's some sort of mix in their basic DNA as far as I understand, right? That's a basic life feeling. Animals have that too, right? So everything is monetized down to what people desire.
Well,
Anyway, to that point, you were being targeted for the other TV, right? You were being targeted on the other TV. You were seeing what you felt was an idyllic vision of Christmas, which is traditional in your mind, and it's something that
a
you grew up
beautiful housewife preparing cookies for the
right.
family. That's very.
Exactly,
I find that very sexy.
exactly, exactly. So that's something that's targeted to you. That's something that you resonate with and are turned on by. I'm not saying sexually, but your mind is engaged with that and excited by that. So that you're the target audience for that. Now, is that a realistic expectation of every person to have a really comfortable household where somebody has the spare time to make cookies and that person is very attractive, that person is very well put together and has the time to do that. I don't think that that's the expectation that every person can have, right? So
What I
that's
could say is the girl using the body spray in her church isn't making cookies for her husband. She's not. I think girls with fresh churches are making cookies for their family. That's my opinion.
the girl using body spray is invented by somebody who's selling something different and selling something different to a different audience.
Well, I agree with you that it's two different audiences. That I agree with. And Gio said he's smoking a special angel share. Gio smoking some good shit tonight. I gotta say that even though I am sipping water, I almost don't even need to. For such a big cigar,
Yeah,
it's drying out my tongue, my palate. The finish is actually it's not as it's long the finish, but it's not as heavy as I thought it'd be. I mean, it's there, but it's more of a long finish than like it's not overpowering on the tongue. It's very nice though. It has a very clean feel to it though,
I agree with
as opposed and what like just like rub your tongue right now against your teeth and see
you.
the
I've been
flavor. Nice.
It's delicious. It's delicious. It's a the overall finish, the strong part of the finish is short. The full finish is long and it's medium, it's sweet, it's non-drying. I agree. Very smooth. All the way around.
I just held the smoke for like 7 seconds. It's really nice. If you hold it, you're gonna feel that little bit of tingling black pepper spice and slight red pepper go
Yeah.
to the nose. Quite nice. Yeah.
Geo
Yeah.
getting very dick in the comments. Thank you, Geo.
And it's true, Caleb. There is no cigars in prison. Still, 2024. There's no cigars in prison. It is what it is. And I gotta say, it's pretty cold out right now, man. It's quite cold.
This is the first day that's been really pleasant, so glad to take advantage of it.
Bro, you're not at 35 degrees, I don't think.
Mm-mm. That's very cold. I wonder if the cigars are also smoking differently because of the temperature, and the humidity.
It is possible. I mean, but we did get a bunch of snow and rain yesterday, so it's
Okay.
quite nice out. Um, but yeah, I am outside. But you gotta also figure it's out. Like you know, the cigar's like in my hand. You look, it's kind of shielded a little bit. And I
Hmm.
do have a wall. A wall around me, which is about a 3 foot wall, but still. So it's if I was in a little forest, it'd be even cooler. Can you imagine smoking a cigar in a pitch black forest at nighttime with no lights on? What would that be?
That'd be pretty cool, I think.
Yeah, but I'm gonna tell you, man, the forest at night is no fucking joke.
Oh yeah,
There's,
of course.
there's a reason why nobody goes there at night unless you're doing something bad.
Haven't you ever been out in the wilderness or in nature or whatever, and the sun starts to go down? You get that feeling. That's a real feeling,
Especially
and you'll
if you're not strapped. Oof.
and I always get that feeling. I gotta get to shelter. I gotta go somewhere. I don't know why, but I
Be,
think it's
because there's things that you know from your experience, and there's things that you don't know from your experience that are passed down.
yeah,
And like for example, you know not to throw a baby in the water. Why? You can't swim. But you also know that don't jump in a volcano. Why? Well, you're gonna die. You also know when you stay in the woods at night, your odds of surviving, even just from the elements, right?
yeah,
But I mean, even just perhaps
yeah.
tripping. Dude, you go out here, the forest is very rocky and like edgy and like little cliffs and bluffs. You could fall down and break your neck or break your leg. That's it. And then a mountain lion's gonna come and do its job, you know? It's almost like it's funny? What's crazy actually?
Hmm.
Pretty much all the time you've been in the forest, everything that lives in the forest, birds, bees, animals, fish, coyotes, bear, wolf, everything is gonna be out there, right? Everything. When's the last time you really seen skeletons?
I see animal skeletons out in nature for sure. Not human skeletons, fortunately.
When do you see skeletons?
Or just walking, you'll see skeletons. You'll see uh, coyote skull, lion skull. Lots of possums and stuff like that. Or animals skeletons.
I've only seen a deer uh, bones.
I've seen a lot. Sorry, give me one sec. Sorry, be right back.
Sacco saying the cigar running slow. Yeah, yeah. I'm an hour and 7 minutes in, and I still have like really a good four inches on this thing. It is delicious, and I really appreciate Jeremy sending me this. It is a phenomenal cigar. Right there, right there. Strength went up almost medium full. I mean, like the edge of medium full. I'm like medium plus P plus. Like so not a strong cigar, but I did have a right there moment. I almost went to medium full right there.
Hmm.
So it's really it's it's gradually growing. We got Sacco dropping 99 cents like it's on fire, man.
Flex.
Flex,
The
flex.
flex. The flex's return. He didn't want us to think. He came in and he's not even in the lounge. He just came into flex.
He's just dropping the flex, drop it, drop it, drop it. Sacco's dropping it like it's hot. Somewhere in Google headquarters, they're just like 99 cents, 99 cents, 99 cents.
Somewhere in Google head. Yeah, rich,
What,
rich dude. They're freaking their hair out.
dude? Reliable. Look at that. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate that flexing, dude. Just flexing, man. We just flexing this shit, man. Sacco, I mean, you're touching my choach right there. You're touching the choach, not the back choach, but you touched my front choach. Thank you, Sacco. Thank you.
The side choke got touched. That was incredible. I want to say I love this. Getting big cherry wood chocolate
Touching the choach.
flex.
Touching the choach. I really appreciate it. Touching my choach. Thank you so much. Listen, your 99 cents goes far here because you know where it goes to, man. It's going to go right to my choach.
That's true, dude. That's like 2 weeks. 2 weeks of camp.
Fuck. Fuck. Sacco, you just touched my rear choach. You touched the rear choach.
Or the rear choke.
We're at the rear choach. I really appreciate that, man. Thank you very much. You touching the choach and the rear choach.
I love this cigar. It's top notes of state.
Keyword you just said there, and I agree with. You said I love this cigar,
Yeah.
and obviously there's different kinds of love. Um, but this is more a version of love. Thank you very much, Joe, Gio, fucking rear choke. It's more of an enjoyment love. Like you love the enjoyment. This cigar.
Yeah,
This is very enjoyment. For
yeah,
anyone who tried the LFD 25, if you're looking for an enjoyable, tingling, spicy, but a very friendly, happy, spicy, almost like a good holiday cigar. I do think this is a good Christmas type of cigar, Thanksgiving cigar. Just so you know, I had a ribeye steak tonight and some mixed vegetables. I went to the shooting range, then I went to the gym, and then I had a ribeye steak. Then I got fresh. I washed my balls, quality soap, and I have good quality soaps. I went to there's a local soap store, and they make the soap there. First off, the girls are knockouts, and
yeah.
dude, these knockout girls selling soap. I bought 6 soaps for $30 because you got a better price if you buy 6 of them, bro. And I got quality, bro. And now I use quality clothes soap. The soap store sells the same soaps in clothes soap. And bro, let me tell you something. The clothes never felt so clean. Like if you use not Tide, you use real quality clothes soap. I mean, all natural stuff. It only has 4 ingredients, no dyes, no chemicals. Dude, the clothes smell fresh a week later. You know what I'm saying? No, I'm not saying I wear my clothes for a week, but I'm saying if I take a shirt out that was hanging up in my closet a week later, it still smells beautiful. Like it smells
Nice.
like fresh soap.
That's wonderful. I want to say I get jalapeno, steak jalapeno, beautiful high end, and then I'm getting and it seamlessly it's giving you big flavor all the way through, and it's bringing me to cherry wood. It's creamy, not cream cream, but it's a sort of a creamy, rich
The,
experience.
the texture with all the flavors combined,
Yeah.
it's a harmonious cigar.
Hmm.
It's harmonious, but at the same time, it's not like refined harmonious like Davidoff, but it's very refined for LFD, and that's what I really enjoy about the cigar. And same thing with the bull. The bull is though it probably takes about an hour to get to where we were at the first puff with the bull. That
Hmm.
is the issue with the bull. It takes a
Right.
long time to
Right.
blow. You know, like this one they got it right. Like off the first puff, you're like, wow, this is much easier to love than the bull. The bull takes more time to like, oh, now I get it, which is fine. It was almost like the bull is a slow burn, like
Yeah.
to get to, you're like, with the final act, the last 3 inches of that cigar is great. I mean, it's all good, but you get what I'm saying. Though. This is great from the beginning.
This is gonna be a crazy thing to tell you, but I think this is the best yard cigar. And what I mean by that is if you could do chores outside the cigar, sublime. Like if you afford that. Because it's not it's beautiful and it's strong and it lasts a while. Like if you had unlimited money, I would smoke this while like doing stuff. You know what I mean?
Well, because you also for what it costs, you're getting a lot of cigar and a lot for your money. It's not like you don't smoke this for $20 and go, it was good, but I wouldn't buy it again. Like, dude, you get a lot for $20. This
Oh,
this beats a lot of cigars at $20. You know what I'm saying? It's very enjoyable.
right there.
But it picked up.
He hit me. Yeah. Oh, we're going heavy meat full, baby.
Holy shit! The flex of all ages. Sacco has dropped a nuclear flex. That is beyond Sacco. You've touched my red shirt, and now you've got the gooch. Here's the gooch. You see the gooch? Here's my balls. Here's my balls. Here's my balls. And there's the gooch. Between the balls and my 8 inch, you got the gooch. You got right there the gooch.
Touched. Touched.
With the gooch.
Beautifully touched.
Psycho. I mean, I don't know what else to say, man. Thank you very much, man. I appreciate that. I really,
Taco literally keeping the lights on with that, right? $20.
dude, that just paid my electric bill. My electric bill was $19 last month. $19.
Flex. Adds up. Flex.
Gio, Gio just paid my electric bill for a day and a half. Thank you very much.
Gio got you a can.
Bro, I only put one light on in my house, and this is the only light on in my house right now. I live my house like like a monastic priest. Like it's just, I live very simply, man. But I'm very happy, very content. I have one Corolla, you know, I have a nice apartment, 3 bedrooms, but I don't even use. I just use one room, really. I mean, I'm
That's
very.
fair. Oh, they want the dancing. They're demanding the dancing. Um, where, where,
Bro,
where,
if I take my shirt off, I'm gonna get pneumonia, man. I can't take my shirt off. Can't.
where are you placing this right now in terms of body? Like to me, again, heavy, medium, full. As
It,
of
it, it's about to be a medium full. It's
Mhm.
about, to, and it's so delicious though, and you're gonna feel this though. Like later tonight, you're like, oh
Yeah,
shit, it's it's still got a lot of strong tobacco in it, but these build up on you, and you'll feel it later tonight or maybe tomorrow. You're like, holy shit, you know.
this is a good cigar, man. I tell you what, I wouldn't excite pay $20 for a Lost City or or Rare Pink, but I would excitedly pay $20 for this. This is quite good.
Hmm. Well, I think this is much easier to love than the red pink, the rare pink. However, though, I really do enjoy the rare pink.
Hmm.
Um, Head to head, I
It's a
probably would.
good cigar. It's very
Yeah,
good.
the rare pink though is more harder to get. Uh, I think at that point though, I think the rare pink and this cigar, or other cigars on that upper level, they're all phenomenal. They're all doing something special. The
Yeah.
rare pink is not bullshit. The Opus X is not bullshit. The 25th is not bullshit. The Bolo is not bullshit. I mean, these are special cigars. They really are, man. They really
Sock,
are.
I think the 25th is better than some Rockies. Some Rockies.
I gotta give him his money back because nothing beats Rocky Patel. Rocky Patel is the greatest brand of all time. Can you imagine the people that bought 2 boxes of the $100 Rocky Patel?
I hope those people have enough money that when they smoked it, they didn't kill themselves.
Do you think it led to suicide?
I think people who bought it probably have enough money where they probably just felt bad for a minute and moved on.
But I think people that could afford $100 cigars, they're
Hmm.
not Rocky Patel.
Yeah, true. Right. It's like people who really have money that Gucci, right?
Do you think what was a bigger overreach? Rocky Patel selling $100 cigars or Ukraine sending 6 missiles into Russia? What's the big overreach?
Rocky. Easy, easy Rocky, dude. Definitely Rocky. Now, what do I think the big overreach was? Putin invading Ukraine or Rocky?
And I agree with that. It was a ballsy move. It was
I,
ballsy.
I
But
would say I would say Putin invading Ukraine over Rocky.
okay,
Over
but let's talk about. And I'm not saying I'm the biggest Putin fan. What I'm saying is though, he is a leader of a major world power. Okay, so
yeah,
that needs to be respected because it's dangerous. Just like we're dangerous. Okay, you don't want, for example, you wouldn't want Tyson Holyfield fighting in your house. The house is going to get wrecked. You understand what I'm saying though? So my point is, before he attacked Ukraine, what happened? The U.S. wanted Ukraine to join NATO, and so Russia didn't want our weapons in Ukraine. You see what I'm saying though? So I'm not. So part of the escalation of Ukraine of Russia invading was American, and that's why we're. So I'm just saying, it's a complex situation. You know
well,
what I'm saying? You
Russia
know,
Russia was also placing troops around the border of Ukraine for a long period of time. I think I don't know the details of it, so it's hard to speak on
no,
it.
what I'm saying is it's not just so black and white. Like like one guy's a good guy, one guy's a bad guy. Like I think everyone's doing bad things for bad intentions. And it's almost like what villain do you agree with? Because most Russian people are regular good people, man. Do you think like the rich kids in Russia are going to go fight and die in Ukraine? Because they're dying too. We're killing a lot of Russians there. We're killing a lot of North Koreans. We're killing a lot. Everyone's getting killed there. I mean, there's even a lot of Americans that went and volunteered and died over there. So
I think without getting down a massive rabbit hole, I will say an observation that I've made is some countries, I think you could judge it on a scale of freedom. Some countries have more freedom, some countries have less freedom, and some countries have more corruption, has less. And I think a country that is more free is morally doing a better job. That would be my.
oh, I can understand that concept, but I don't think anyone's really free. I don't think anyone's really free
Yeah,
because you're here. If you stop paying your taxes or your property taxes, they'll take your house away and you'll be homeless. So you're free as long as you make your payments to the right people in America, you can stay free. If you
I
stop
think
if you
there's
stop paying child support, if you stop paying your property taxes, if you stop paying your car registration, which is a tax. Think of it, you own the car. I own my car. Why do I got to pay registration? I thought I paid gasoline. Gasoline is gas tax, right? So and then also when I buy anything, it has state and local city taxes. What's that money for? So if you go down that rabbit hole, bro, we're all a bunch of fucking no matter what country you belong to, that country is your pimp. So if you're in Russia, Russia's your pimp. If you're in America, America's your pimp. So we just have pimps we agree with.
there you have a class of pimps called gorilla pimps who beat their girls into submission. I think those are morally inferior pimps. I agree with Total Tech. God bless America.
No, of course, what I'm saying is I love America. But what I'm saying is, bro, I'm not delusional to think that if I stop paying my child support, I'll be homeless. I'll be in prison because of my pimp. You
No,
understand what I'm saying?
listen. If you had nothing, if nothing existed, we would slowly incorporate into groups, into countries, or whatever, over time. And how that would go is basically we would have a truce, and then we would start to have certain ground rules so that we can cooperate, and eventually that system grows larger, starts to govern its population. So I think it's an illusion of non-anarchy to have certain things which won't give you what you might define as complete freedom. But I think in terms of actually living day to day, I think that freedom here is still achievable, or experience of freedom is achievable in a way that it is not in other countries. I've spoken to Sacco about this, and he has real experience. Let him speak on it more directly or specifically, but he has real experience coming from a place which has less freedom to America, which he loves, which has more freedom. So I think that's real and tangible.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying people here in America can't have or have a good life. I'm not disagreeing with that. What I'm saying is that you're not free like you think. You're free to enjoy your life as long as you pay off the right people. And if you stop paying off the right people, they don't go, well, you know what, you were good for a long time, but so we'll give you a pass. There's no pass. There's no.
There are certain obligations that you have to the system, is true, but I don't think it's the same.
For example, though,
I think you're conflating.
your taxes that you pay, or for example, on your payroll taxes, right? That wasn't always the case. That only started within the past century. We didn't always have that. So how did we have a country in the 1800s, in the late 1700s, 1800s, in the early 1900s? How did we have a country if people weren't paying payroll tax? We did. We were thriving. We had the biggest economic boom in the 1800s. We were the economic world leader. Our factories and everything.
Didn't we
Because
have slavery?
what's that?
Didn't we have slavery in the
Not in
1800s?
the North. Not in the North. And if you're talking about after the slavery in the 1870s, no. You know what I'm saying? No. So, but even when you talk about that, that's still a small part of the population. The majority of the population was working, and they weren't paying payroll tax. I think it started in what? Then it was it 19? Was it? The Federal Reserve started what? 19? Is it 13?
You've got many different ways to run a country, make ends meet, and be able to support your citizens. I still think that there are ways to do that which are more and less moral. And I think that while we can always improve our state, I think that we're living in a state, in a country that is um, better on that than oh, uh, better on that scale than a lot of other countries, and a lot of other countries historically. So I feel very blessed to be.
Yeah, I'm not saying America's not a great country. What I'm saying is that I don't think we're going in the right direction. That's what I'm saying. Like for example, you live in New York City. The tolls to drive across the bridge. Are you fucking kidding me? How many million, or even like when I drive to go see my daughter, all the tolls on my Easy Pass. For what? Oh, it's for the roads. I thought that's why you have gas tax. Oh, what about with the your property taxes? I thought lottery. You know, lottery. All the funding for the lottery, all the losers in the lottery, which is like 99% of the people. Um, that's supposed to go to schools. When's the last time they paid for a school and said, "Don't worry about your property tax this year. We collected $1 billion in the state in lottery tickets." Never. It's a
I think
scam.
that I think again the overall idea of what we're trying to I think is good. I think you could say there are implementations which are suboptimal, and hopefully those things will be fixed. And if you are we going in the right direction or the wrong direction? I think it's also hard to say because I think the technological landscape is shifting massively. For instance, there was slavery for a very long period. There's still slavery, but much less, and it's much less accepted,
I
which is
agree
good.
with
What do
you.
you say?
We have more slaves than ever. We just move them.
No,
First
but
of all, so there's slavery happening still in America, but we ignore it. You know how many people, for example, that are working maybe in a factory or illegally, or people that get smuggled here, and let's say, example, they're working in some Chinese restaurant and they're paying off the Chinese mafia because they got smuggled in here. Those are slaves. Or what about all your goods? We're talking about iPhones. All,
Chinese Chinese
all,
mon-
all of our
well,
electronics are made in China, and those people are slaves in those factories. We just everything made at Walmart is made in China, and those people are not getting living wages. They're slaves. You know what I'm saying though?
so see, but you're kind of making my point, which is some countries are still doing things which are more
No,
dis-
but we're just as guilty. We outsource the slaves.
we're
We used to have slaves here. Now
we're
we
not,
move the slaves to China.
we're not as guilty, but we should move away from that stuff. I agree with you, and I think that over time we're in a position to be able to move away. So it's possible that we can go in a very good direction. And if we're able to fully make that over time, I think we will have gone in a great direction.
Like
So it's hard.
for example, like whenever I go to New York, I take my daughter. She gets her nails done. All those women work in this nail salon. It's like a sweatshop. These girls are working 12, 14-hour days in those nail salons in not good working conditions, breathing all those chemicals in all day long, breathing that in. And that's all run by the Chinese mafia, all of it. But the women don't say nothing about it. The American women, why? Because they want their nails done, right? They want their nails done. It's $1 billion business, cash.
I, I do agree that we should be careful about who we're in bed with, who we do business with, and the people that we do business with should be up to our morals. Otherwise, you are virtually an accomplice. But it's hard to undo over the course of the day. So I think it's a process that happen and continue to happen. But I do,
Well, the end results were back in the day, like you saw when we had literal slavery in America. These plantation owners wanted, it wasn't free labor because they still had to provide food and lodging, although it probably wasn't good. It was terrible. But I mean, they had to have the people live so they could work for free, right? But
Mhm.
now people want cheap stuff, so they get their cheap goods made in China. And you go to Walmart, you're buying stuff that was made by slaves. Dude, people commit suicide so much in these factories in China. They have nets outside the buildings so they could catch the people. You know what I'm saying? No, so I mean, clearly it's not a good opportunity, So, but,
Again, we're not there yet, but I think that we're. Oh man, I'm gonna have to rip this band. There's a lot of glue on it. Um, that's too bad.
yeah,
Um,
that is a minor down note of the cigar. The band was kind of hard to take off, and I had to rip it off.
yeah, I think I'm gonna have to do that. I wanted to keep this band like the cigar, but um, yeah. Look, again, it's. I hope that we will continue to improve and make changes. Um, I don't know what else can be said to that.
Yeah, I mean, you look at over the centuries, like 200 years ago, all the Irish and Italians coming over, and they had hard lives, and they built roads and tunnels, and a lot of
Yeah,
guys died in the dams, and it was hard work. But they built this country, and then their children got to have a better life. You know what I'm saying? So in a way, it's like there's always going to be people that have to suffer to build stuff,
But I
and
think
there's always going to be people taking advantage of those people, if you get what I'm saying.
sure, but still in America we have an opportunity to be safe and move up through the ranks, which might not be available the same way in other countries. So I think that's worth something. I mean,
Yeah,
I'm almost certain that's worth something.
yeah. I wonder how many, if not millions of people over the past, let's say, 20, 30 years have died from drugs, from drug overdoses.
Hmm.
What are they doing with those bodies? You don't see tons of cemeteries for all those homeless people that were drug addicts. Where did the bodies go?
I don't know. I
Where
mean,
where, where are
you
those
can't
potted
use.
fields?
Uh-huh. Where's that?
Where are those potters fields where they bury the poor and the homeless? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't. I have no idea. This cigar is a little bit more simple. Definitely medium full. I don't think it's. Yeah, it's.
It's delicious and easy to love. That's the
Yeah,
best way to describe this. It is so delicious, dude. I find myself over puffing on this thing. I'm
yeah.
having a great time. For
Hmm.
me, I think this cigar is a solid 4.75, which would be right below godlike. It'd be
Yeah.
very is high in my opinion. 4.75 is as high as amazing I can go
Hmm.
before 4.8 is godlike. So and with the high reusability. Now let's go side factors. Very reusable, very enjoyable. Anybody can love this cigar. Um, it's strong enough for aficionados to still enjoy it, and it's not strong enough for newbie people. They wouldn't get scared of the cigar, and it would teach them about beautiful flavor. You know what I'm saying? Though,
If I was, I
like a
would.
Henry Cameroon, but it's obviously a higher tier than Henry Cameroon, but it's very special.
I think the cigar is a little bit scary. It's pretty, but I agree with you. I think I would place the LG at around, for me on the scale would be like a maybe 8.25, which is like a great cigar, great plus. Um, I think this is below that. Well,
But there's other factors. The LG is not as easy to love. This is very easy to love. It's very easy to love. I think the LG takes you to a stronger place, a more abstract place, um, more grounded, more powerful. This is this is delicious. I'm not gonna say complete dessert cigar, but so much nice sweetness with an ample amount of semi-complex spice with the black and red pepper. You begin a little bit of jalapeno, slight notes. I haven't been getting that, but
yeah,
just and that might also be the temperature. I don't know, dude. I mean, it's probably about 30 degrees at this point. I can't feel my hands through my gloves.
I'm getting a lot of cherry. It's a little less complex at this point.
Yeah, Gio
I
made
don't
a
know.
good point. Like you said, it is a big cigar, though. It's a big commitment. It's 7 by 54.
I think for me it would be around a 7.5. It could be an 8, but it's around a 7.5. It's very very good to
Oh,
me. Yeah,
you feel it's still a solid rating, though. It's right, and you would smoke it again.
this. I mean, to me, in terms of non-Cuban cigars, this would be probably top for me, maybe. So really, really high up there. Um,
I could hold the smoke on this forever if I wanted to.
mhm.
It is so delicious. Um, I have nothing bad to say about it. Like nothing, except the band being that paper and so large. You got to be careful you don't damage the cigar.
I'll say another thing is I would put this on like high reusability and high usability. Um,
Yeah, I could smoke this. I could smoke this 3 days in a row and not get bored.
yeah, I think you smoke it anytime.
You know,
Um,
I would not pair scotch with this. Not even beer. Maybe I'd have like a cappuccino or a coffee with it or something like that.
yeah, I
And
agree.
it's good enough to enjoy it standalone, just with a glass of water. It's
Hmm.
not like you have to eat something with it, because it's too strong, or like complement the cigar. The cigar complements itself. You know what I'm
I
saying?
agree.
Though?
It's a very complete profile. It's a delicious profile. It's an upfront profile, which I like. I think it's doing something really. I doing.
Gio wants me to hold the smoke. Let me see how long. Here we go. Ready? I'm gonna hold the smoke. I'm gonna try to go for a minute. Here we go.
Sure. That's good. Did I miss anything? Oh, good cigar. You're still holding, huh? Wow. He's about to get every flavor that's in that cigar. We're gonna need a description after this. You're the Wim Hof of cigars, dude.
Okay, I held the cigar for about a minute and 10 seconds.
How is it?
It was awesome, and in around 50 seconds, the flavor actually changed. It was like it's fucking phenomenal. On the tongue, the teeth, dude.
Yeah.
On the tongue and the teeth, phenomenal.
Gio just insured the nightmare tonight, dude. Richie's visiting Carlito and go Lito for sure.
But dude, I got about 2 hours to clean my guns, man. I have a lot of guns to clean. So
Yeah, so that's good. Um, what did the flavor change to when you were holding it?
holding the smoke is different than puffing and tasting it on the tongue right away.
Yeah.
More about how the smoke moves, and when you held the smoke, the spice becomes more amplified,
Uh-huh.
um, and you get more of that. And the graham cracker, the nuttiness, the raw sugar is all there. But holding it, the, the stronger notes when you hold the smoke, that's what makes you want to open your mouth first because
Yeah.
you want to. It gets too spicy. But I wouldn't consider this an overly spicy cigar.
Mm-mm.
Um, but it definitely has some spice to it. But I just think it's I would say the cigar is pretty balanced. What do you think?
Very balanced. Absolutely agree. Good little bit of sweetness. You're right about the graham cracker. I wasn't picking that up. A lot of save, some saltiness. Very rich. Not too rich though. Not overly rich. Um,
If it was more rich, it'd be a very heavy finish.
yeah. Too
Finish
much.
super heavy. It
Yeah.
allows room to be more heavy. Meaning, if your finish is already heavy, you can't go any heavier. You know what I'm saying? No,
Yeah.
it's almost like it's too much.
I think if it was richer, it would only be like reaching into like a Maduro range, if that makes sense in terms of the profile. Where it's not now. It's definitely more in the sun grown range.
But it would be more like a light sun grown. You know what I'm saying? Though, because it's not a very dark cigar. It's still between 65 and 70% darkness. I'm at like a gentle medium full, and when I'm saying gentle medium full, like in strength about like 73, 74, 75%, but not really there. It's not a three-quarter strength is a solid medium full. You understand what I'm saying? No,
Yeah.
it's on the edge of it. It's on the edge of it. So um, it's delicious though. But
Well,
in the end, it's 4.75 for me
yeah.
out of 5.
I think that's a very good. I think that's a. I think you're right on with that rating.
Plus,
Based on your rating
high
scale.
usability, box worthy.
Yeah.
Definitely 2 years didn't hurt the cigar. 2 years didn't hurt the cigar.
Based on what I know of your rating scale, I think I absolutely agree with where it's at. I think that's
I
a.
think when I had this originally, though,
Mhm.
without 2 years of age on it, I think it was probably just a little more spicy. A little
Mhm.
more. So it might have lost. I'm not talking about like a lot of, but I mean, it probably lost just a little bit of spice, even 2 years of age. Um, so if you go and buy this fresh, like at the store, it's not going to be like so much stronger, but maybe just a little stronger.
So I'm here. Still got a little ways to go, but it's definitely starting. I'm probably at, I say I got 4.5 inches. It's starting to get a little aggressive, a little more assertive. It's quite, but it's still very smooth. No black pepper, no char texture. It's not burnt at all. Although it does have some char flavor. Um,
Hey, I'm in the last third on this thing.
yeah.
I just hit a minute ago the 10% mark because
Hmm.
out here in the cold, and it's been at 90 minutes now. So and I started with a full battery, but in the cold the battery gets zapped a little faster.
Yeah, I think I only have 10% as well. So if I die out, you'll see.
Yeah, we'll give it about another 2 3 minutes. I want to say that I appreciate Jeremy sending this to the channel,
Yeah.
and appreciate all the guys supporting Richie in the channel. We're at $30 tonight. Really appreciate it, Sako Gio. Thank you so much. You touched my choach, and I really appreciate that. I do from the bottom of my choach and my gooch. I appreciate that. It's great just to hang out, but also it's great to put the information.
Hmm.
And there's nothing like reconfirming a cigar. It's one thing you have viewed a cigar once, you enjoyed it, but to test it again, and especially with 2 years' time, adds a different level of testing. And that's all cigar channels are. It's like a testing. It's like a beta tester. It's like.
It's getting. Yeah, I also want to say thank you to Jeremy. He didn't have to send this to me at all, and he surprised me with this. Was very kind, and enjoying it tremendously. And I wouldn't have tried it otherwise, or at least I wouldn't have tried it for much period of time.
Paying
Um,
$500 for a 25 count box. So that is basically 250 for 13 of them. So what is the math on that?
huh?
Well,
It's
if you're
no, it's about 500, and it's about four. It's four per hundred. 4 times 5. So it's like, wait, 4 times? No, 5 times 5. It's like 20. So it's a
yeah,
little bit sub 25.
about $20 a cigar. You know, I'll tell you what. I mean, that is getting into the upper tier market. But in this day and age with inflation,
Yeah,
$20 is very reasonable for a luxury cigar. I would consider this a luxury in the luxury category. You know.
definitely, definitely a luxury cigar. It's a really nice cigar. Getting strong.
Now, would you buy this at Robusto for 15 or Toro for 17.50? What would you do?
I don't like Toro, but I definitely try the Robusto at 15. That'd be great. Um, I what's interesting to me about this. uh What's interesting to me about this cigar is it almost tastes like Sumatra. Not quite. It doesn't. But you know what I mean? It has a similar, like, beautiful, interesting profile. I guess.
Because it didn't go full Habano. You know what I'm saying? No.
No, no. Well, it's Corojo, so it's really not. But it feels,
Is it listed as the Ecuadorian Corojo Habano?
yeah, Ecuadorian Corojo. But I think it's got I think it has the sort of beauty and different notes and complexity more that you have, Sumatra.
There's a lot of nice Sumatra
Yeah.
cigars.
Cheers, Gio. Yeah. But it's really good.
It's a really good cigar. It's really enjoyable. Every puff is enjoyable. There was no back part like, for
Yeah.
10 minutes, I don't know what happened. No, it really,
Yeah.
it starts off phenomenal. It starts off phenomenal, and it doesn't let go. And I really enjoy that part of it.
I've had this one part that looks like a lot on camera, but not that much. I have this one part that's not burning. Otherwise, it's been a pretty solid burn. I haven't touched it up at all. So
I've had a few touch-ups, but also because I'm in very cold weather,
yeah,
windy, and it is quite windy and cold here. So I think 30 degrees is a good test of a cigar.
this thing is hitting me at this point. It's not a weak cigar.
Hmm. Would I compare it to any other cigar? Obviously, if you want a stronger version of the bowl, absolutely. Um,
Same cigar, Uncle. Exact same.
what other cigar?
Same box.
I would say the Perdomo 30th Sungrown, but the Perdomo 30th Sungrown is not as. This feels nicer. Even though the Perdomo has 15 years of age in the wrapper, binder, filler, I think Perdomo, even though the 30th Sungrown was their best cigar, I still think they have a long way to go in their blending styles And I also think they're limited by really only using their tobacco. And you know what I'm saying though? Um, and I'm not knocking the brand. I mean, but it is what it is. But I think Perdomo gives you a lot for your money, but I think they're also limited on what they give you. Great quality construction, but they're limited what they give you due to really using, for the most part, only their tobacco. However, that makes their cigars very reliable, and you know exactly what to get. And every time you light a Perdomo up, they taste the same every time. So if you like the Perdomo, if you like this, try the Perdomo 30 and Sun Grown. You haven't tried that yet, right?
I haven't tried that one yet. No, I think I tried the 20th, which I wouldn't compare to this. I think it's a lot more boring. I would compare this to me. This is to me, it's like the LFD version of the Lost City. That's what it is to me. It's not as complex. It's not as deep, but it's kind of in that range where it's not super strong, but it's
Hey,
quite strong and it's
PG,
refined.
I hate to say it, I'm going to end it because my volume's going down. That's the first thing I'm about to shut off. My phone's going to shut off. It's been an hour and a half. Thank you so much for coming on. Great content, good
Thank you,
conversation.
man.
We talked about, you know, spraying the chocha and the impact of society. And before the channel gets shut off by my battery going dead, I want to say thank you, man. Any last words?
All right, man. No, thank you for having me. It's been really nice. Thank you to Jeremy and Taco and Gio, and it's been a really nice time, and it's been a really nice cigar. It's delicious. It's not too complex, but it is complex. It is refined, but it's not elegant. Great cigar.
Well, I'm going to say this. I couldn't hear what you said because my volume shut off, but I'm just going to say whatever you said, I'll agree with it. I don't know what you said, though. You could have said I'm a homosexual. I don't know.
All right, man.
Well, I'll see you guys around. No cigars in prison. You stay good, stay fresh, and I'll see you around. And thank you for coming on, man. I really
Hey,
appreciate it. It's been too
thank you, man.
long. We have to
Appreciate
do more lives, you know.
it. Yeah, yeah. All right. Have a
I'll
good
see
night.
you guys around. Stay fresh.